When I was little, my very Irish mother used to play the Irish Rovers LP records a lot. And I loved their musical version of Shel Silverstein's poem, The Unicorn. For those of you who don't remember that song, or might not have ever heard it, God tells Noah to fill the ark with the animals 2 by 2, but not to forget the favorite, the unicorn. When the rain is getting heavy and the boat is full, Noah cries out, "Hey, Lord, I got your green alligators and your long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats, some rats, some elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, I just can't see no unicorn." Then Noah looked out through the driving rain. Them unicorns was hiding and playing silly games, kicking and splashing while the rain was pouring. Oh, them silly unicorns. The ark started moving, it drifted with the tide. Them unicorns looked up from the rock and they cried. And the waters came down and sort of floated them away. And that's why you'll never see a unicorn to this very day. You'll see green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats, some rats, some elephants, but sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn. While the song is happy and peppy and fun to dance to and sing with, I found it incredibly sad. The God who supposedly loves so abundantly and forgave so easily could leave anything or anyone behind. It was as disturbing to me as a 6-year-old as it is for me today as a 60-something-year-old. Would a God with the ultimate plan for peace and justice and restoration through the lifeblood of God's chosen child truly leave someone behind? Even the U.S. Marines wouldn't dream of doing something like that. Yet in today's gospel, Jesus plainly reminds us that people must be vigilant. One will be taken. If unprepared or inattentive, one will be left. The imagery of a sudden and dramatic separation indicates there's a dire consequence for a lack of being socially or spiritually disciplined. As dramatic as all of this sounds, I have to say I did find comfort in all 3 of our readings today. I was somewhat relieved to note that back in those days, they were as worried about a cataclysmic ending as we are today. So I found a little hope for us in that space. I also found comfort in the fact that in all 3 readings, we are asked to step back and to follow the light and to choose a different way of being. They move us forward from the distance and looking out to some cosmic sign that is yet to come, and instead looking inward to the light within and the things we can control in the here and the now. In our first reading, Isaiah invited people who are worried about the Assyrian expansion, military threat, religious corruption, social inequities, all the things we might be worrying about today, to come and let us walk in the light of God, highlighting God's ultimate vision for us. Then in Paul's letter to the Romans, he challenges the believers who are practicing moral ambiguity, as Ingrid read in the first reading, in a city that's known for its excesses and its dramatic conflicts, and feeling pressure to assimilate to a Roman culture, to instead wake from sleep, remove the work of darkness, and put on the light of Christ. And finally, in Matthew's gospel today, Jesus warns us that the Son of Humanity will come unexpectedly, like a thief in the night. And it calls for us to be awake, not spiritually drowsy, distracted, or complacent, not fearful, but attentive. So here we are in this season of waiting, Advent, striving to prepare, striving to awaken. But I have to be honest, as I got ready for today, I had to ask myself, what am I waiting for? Am I waiting for 2026? I'm not gonna lie, 2025 was pretty hard, so that'd be great, but that's not what Advent is all about. Am I waiting for Christmas? Because if I am, I can easily get lost in gift wrapping and partying and all the other things, the trappings of Christmas that aren't about the Christmas story. Am I waiting for the Christmas story? Because I already know the ending to that one, and I have no evidence that I'm a better person on December 26th after I've heard that story again on December 25th. Am I waiting for the second coming? Because I'm not sure that's going to happen in my lifetime, much less in the next 26 days. And I'm not even confident that all of us have the same picture of what that will look like. So that whole thing's just a little bit murky to me. And then I figured it out. I'm waiting because waiting is the gift. Advent is the gift we give ourselves right before we remind ourselves of our Christian heritage, our Christian commitments, and the retelling of our Christmas story. I did a little research and learned that all of the world's religions create spaces for great waiting, because waiting, it turns out, is one of the most powerful teachers of humanity. Across cultures, traditions, and all eras, waiting has been used to shape identity, deepen wisdom, and cultivate spiritual maturity. The practice shows up everywhere, from Christianity to Buddhism, from indigenous traditions to Islam, Judaism, and beyond. Spiritual leaders recognize that the practice of waiting disrupts our rapid pace, creates a space for us to slow down, to become aware, and to notice. So here's a small moment for you to try noticing. Without turning your head, do you know who's sitting next to you? Do you remember what they're wearing? If you had an earlier conversation with them today, based on their facial expressions or their tone, how is that person feeling? How are you feeling? Are you comfortable with your posture? Are you breathing fast or slow? How's your heart rate? Take a minute, take a deep breath in, and let it out nice and slow. And then do a graceful reset. Purposefully grant yourself permission to notice and settle with great care. Waiting teaches us to develop patience, to use our creative imagination, and to appreciate mystery. When I was little, I climbed into the closet and found where the Christmas gifts were kept before they were wrapped, and I saw the one I had been asking for. I was so excited. I knew it was going to happen. But I think my parents knew I had done the dastardly deed, and the gift I wanted went to my brother. I learned to appreciate mystery. Waiting gives us perspective. It creates a space for us to step back, to see the big picture, to acknowledge that we indeed are not in control. We'd like to think so, but we're not, and it's very humbling. Waiting heals us. As we transition away from hard moments and rough interactions, waiting creates this distance and creates those spaces where we can get some breathing room, get some perspective, reset, and then re-engage with our communities and our loved ones. Waiting creates spaces to awaken by forcing us to notice the littlest of things, the most profound things, the fact that everything is holy. We have power to notice how we approach things. Unlike any other creature on this planet, we can notice how we approach, and we can change how we approach. We can even train ourselves to notice what's more right than more wrong in any given situation. People frequently miss noticing the holy, not because they're evil, because they're busy. Ordinary routines obscure deeper invitations from the divine. Most importantly, waiting creates spaces for personal and profound transformation. It is active, not passive. Spiritual leader and writer Henry Nouwen stated, "If we wait in the conviction that a seed has been planted and something that has already begun is about to happen, it changes how we wait." Active waiting implies being fully present in the moment with the conviction that something is happening, that where we are and that we want to be present to that moment. A waiting person is someone who is present to the moment, believing the moment is the moment. And that is the gift of the Christmas season of Advent and the retelling of our good news story. Advent, it turns out, is the gift we give ourselves in this very hectic time. If we truly believe we are souls having human experiences, then this frenetic pace, this life-saving, mind-numbing daily routine thing that we do, this unfortunate, I made a mistake during the day and now I can't sleep at night thing that we do, and our sometimes misplaced priorities are all a part of this great, big, messy, imperfect thing we call life. It's part of that human package. And sometimes we do need to get lost in the rain, dancing and playing to the point of distraction, just like our unicorn friends did. Jesus isn't suggesting that situational moments will prohibit you and me from getting into that proverbial ark. Jesus is instead saying, pay attention. There's more. Learn from me and with me. Build a relationship with me and our heavenly, loving God. Look inward. Look outward. Take notice, because everything is truly holy.